Everyone has been wondering the same ancient old question. How do I make PUBG run smoother? Well, in this video, I'll present you with the cold hard facts complemented with a side-by-side FPS comparisons. Here is what everyone doesn't want to hear. Most, if not all your frames in a video game are based off of your actual computer hardware. A side note, as of the month of October, Bluehole has released an article saying that if players mess with the game files, .ini files are going to be banned. So in this video, we will not be messing around with any sort of configurations that will get you banned from PUBG. No third-party programs, no downloads, no stupid assumptions that are based off of people that are sheeps and regurgitate from others with no experience with computers. I've been testing different types of ways to make a positive impact on my gaming experience for PUBG for months now. I want to give you guys the best guide on YouTube for fixing your lag. This video is going to be lengthy because I want to go through everything thoroughly and explain why every step in this video is important. Before I continue, here are my specs for my current computer. Here are solutions I found very helpful in obtaining my goal to getting the most FPS I possibly can. Step 1. Game Compatibility Settings. Go to Steam. Go to your library. Find PUBG. Right click PUBG and click on Properties. Find the Local Files tab and click on Browse Local Files. Go to TLSL Game. Binaries, Win64, and find TLSLGame.exe. Right click it, click Properties, go to the Compatibility tab, and make sure you check Override High DPI Scaling Behavior, Scaling Performed by Application, and check Disable Full Screen Optimizations. Standard full screen windowed mode passes everything to the desktop compositor, which forces tripled buffered VSync to be used and adds a frame of latency. Disabling full screen optimizations can bypass the compositor, reducing latency and allowing you to disable VSync. At the same time, it enables fast alt-tabbing if there's no display mode switching. Full screen windowed mode games are also handled slightly differently with this enabled. So as long as there are no other windows overlaying the game, they can also bypass the compositor and disable VSync. This forces the process to run in per monitor DPI awareness mode. This setting was previously referred to as Disable Display Scaling on High DPI settings. So overall, this setting effectively tells Windows not to bitmap stretch a UI from the exe in question when the DPI changes. The following commands do not work on the PUBG engine, which is Unreal Engine 4. Malloc, Refresh, Force Feature Level, No Man's Sky, and High do not work on PUBG's engine. The following commands work. Use all available cores, SM4, and D3D10. We are not going to set any launch options because most of them don't matter and some of them are not that effective in improving your FPS. Step 2. Disable DVR GameBar. Side note, for this step to work, make sure you have the latest Windows 10 update installed. Go to your Start menu, click on your settings, find Gaming, and make sure everything in this section is turned off. As well as DVR, make sure everything's turned off. Broadcasting turned off, and leave game mode enabled, and here's why. I recommend if you have severe performance issues with your games, you may find this game mode a solution to your problems. However, some other users with high-end systems may find no performance improvements at all, and in fact some report that they get worse performance in some games with massive frame drops. So just test around with this yourself, and if it gives you better FPS, leave it on. If it doesn't give you better FPS, turn it off. Step 3. NVIDIA Control Panel Settings, and this is strictly for NVIDIA cards only. Right click your desktop, click on NVIDIA Control Panel. Once the window has appeared, click on Manage 3D Settings, and click on Program Settings. And if playerunknownsbattlegrounds.exe isn't showing up, I'm going to click on add and try and look for the list through here. And if it still isn't in here, click on browse, go to where your Steam is installed, maps, common, PUBG, TSL game, binaries, Windows 64, and select tslgame.exe and click on open, and it should add it into here. So there are only going to be 5 options that we're going to be altering today. The CUDA GPUs, I like to always set mine as I use these GPUs and I select my GPU that I'm using. And the maximum pre-rendered frames is set to 1. Power management mode is for maximum performance. Extra filtering on. And threaded optimization on. And that's it for that. And click apply. And you can X out of the NVIDIA control panel. Step 4. Updating your graphics driver. If you guys have NVIDIA graphics cards, go to the link in the description and click on the NVIDIA link. If you guys have AMD graphics cards, go to the link in the description and click on the AMD driver link. I have NVIDIA, so I'm going to go to the NVIDIA driver link. So once you're here, you want to click on what you have, click on search, and then the GeForce Game Ready driver is here. Click on download, but you don't have to do this if you have NVIDIA Experience installed. So if you have NVIDIA Experience installed, click on your start button, type in NVIDIA GeForce Experience, and you can click on drivers right here. Click on check for updates. And if there's a update, it'll have, if you want to download and install it right now, click on yes and install it. And if you don't have an update, it'll just say you the latest GeForce driver. And once you installed the new driver, you want to restart your computer. Step 5. In-game settings. The first thing we're going to look at is video capture. Highlights auto capture. I've done testing and disabling NVIDIA Shadowplay highlights may allow your frames to go up by 10 to 15 frames. But I use NVIDIA highlights, so I'm going to be enabling it. Screen mode. Setting this to full screen will provide you with more FPS. That's why we changed the game compatibility settings in step 1. Anything other than full screen may cause stutter lag or in general cause some game lag. FPS camera FOV. This setting only really affects first person mode the most out of the game. Tested on third person servers and little to no improvement or decrease in FPS. So if you play mostly third person servers, there is no need to alter this setting. But if you do play on first person mode servers, I would recommend to lower your FOV and test it out for yourself. Another important thing to remember, if you're having FPS drops while opening up your inventory, then you want to turn off inventory screen character render. Even if you have a high-end PC, I would still highly recommend to turn this off if you don't care about seeing your character in your inventory UI. So this portion of the video is going to display all the graphical settings, very low, low, medium, high, ultra, and see what FPS we get after we've done all the steps in the video, and I'll show you guys how to optimize each setting and explain why each setting is important to change and which one's going to improve your FPS and decrease your FPS. Default graphic preset analysis. The information we gather is very low is 102, low is 101, medium is 90.4, high is 84, and ultra is 73.3. But clean, what does this mean? Alright, look at the graph. Very low and low has barely any FPS differential. Medium and high have around 6.4, high to ultra has around 10.7 FPS decrease. Okay, Clean, we get it, we can read a graph, we understand. But this is saying that obviously there's a huge margin from very low to ultra with around a 30 FPS decrease of performance. What we can now gather from this information is which settings are the ones causing the most loss of performance. Now let's go in game to find the best settings for what our system can handle. Let's all focus on something right now. What type of game do you want to play? An aesthetically appealing game that shows off its shaders and soft, vibrant edges of trees and buildings with not as much FPS? Or do you want to play on a game that looks like it's made from the 1990s? But no one questions this one. Why not both? Now that we're in game, let's open our settings. First thing we want to do is set our graphic quality to very low for a controlled environment. Let's look at the very first setting, anti-aliasing. I typically set this to high because I don't like rough, sharp edges around objects in game, but if your opinion differs from mine, then you can set to very low. This setting takes away around 4 to 6 FPS. Post-processing, shadows, and effects have the most hard hits considering FPS, but all three give you the better looking game. But we're here for performance, so we're not going to be messing with those today. Texture is something that I've always had on high or ultra on a regular basis. Setting this to very low or low will not give you much of an FPS boost. Foliage oddly affects the trees at a distance. On very low, it doesn't show trees past a certain viewing point. But if you set this to high or ultra, you can see trees further off in the distance. I typically have this turned off because I generally do not care if I see trees 500 miles away. View distance doesn't impact performance that heavily, so I like to set this on right in the middle to medium. But I typically set this to very low because I can see players better in the distance when nothing renders and I can only see their character model. Pubg has a long ways to go on improving servers and optimization. The game has been out for months now and we've all seen some type of improvement of FPS. Towards the end of 2017, hopefully we can see a lot of improvements regarding optimization. But we all need to know that PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is still in alpha and we have to be patient whether we like it or not. Hopefully this in-depth guide helped out the typical PC gamer. If you guys like to see more videos like this, then please subscribe, like, and comment if this helped you out. I'll be active in the comments of this video, so please stay tuned for more content in the future. I hope you all have an amazing day.